Redwood has been helping me since I was 3 years old. I receive speech and occupation. They helped me with learning how to say something, maybe. That words that I don't know. It helped me focus and learn more.
My name is Becca Bell Coppage, and Winston is my son. He was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in February of 2012. And after the diagnosis, I was just sort of in a very unknown territory, and not a lot of people knew about autism spectrum disorder. Redwood has been a staple of the Northern Kentucky community. So I looked up their therapy services and did see a slew of services that involved children. And I had immediately, called Peggy, a farmer here, and left her a message. And the next thing I knew, she was, doing a home visit, sitting in my kitchen, and letting me know what Redwood could do for Winston. We started him immediately. After his diagnosis in February of 2012, I believe, we were in here in March. Once we got everything settled in, Redwood gave us a lot of support. So that's when we started. And we had a developmental interventionist that we also worked on. And then his speech, then we got him into speech as well, and OT, and they would pull him from the program and work with him. Speech and OT have been the best services, but I think the constant is really just Redwood and what they offer and the therapists they do choose. Because I think that whatever their hiring process is amazing, because I think they find driven therapists that are always looking for the next and always wanting the best. And that half an hour there with Winston, he's their number one priority. For Winston personally, it's been astounding. And I think that goes without saying, because week in and week out, he's here and he's putting in the work, and the therapists do the same. And he's grown leaps and bounds. As far as like an impact on our family as a whole, having a special needs brother, it's been, questions about discipline, family dynamic, and I feel like I could come to either of the therapists or even Peggy and, ask for advice. They've helped our family as a whole, and Winston, the proof is in the pudding, what Redwood has done from us. Winston started out with an individual education plan. And I feel that when you have that in place with his everyday schooling, but you have such intricate part, which is the speech and the therapy, the outside services he receives, I feel like you kind of have to try to bring those two worlds together as much as possible. And I feel like his therapists here at Redwood have always tried to communicate, whether email or phone call, with the therapist in school, gaining the knowledge, the support, because IEPs in itself are very overwhelming and scary when they first start out. But Redwood, and depending on the school your child goes to, there are ways to bridge that gap and bring everyone together for making Winston the common goal. I mean, Redwood's just support from A to Z. They just always have been there to help. My advice to a person navigating and starting out once they find their child, whatever the diagnosis is, my advice is, first, don't be afraid of the diagnosis, because I think with diagnosis, it gives it a name. It gives you some power, because now you know what is wrong with your child, and you're able to take that, research it, gain knowledge, meet people. Luckily, our journey was blessed with meeting Peggy and then finding a good school system that worked with us every step of the way. The reason I sing Redwood's praises is because when you're lost and you feel like autism is so much bigger than you, and then when you meet people to help you make sense, it gets smaller and smaller. Winston's the common goal. And I guess the one last thing I want to say was that Redwood is a family. I really do feel like a part of the Redwood family. I can call or email. I always get an answer, even if it's like, I think one time I was having trouble with my oldest, and I was like, oh, crying to one of the therapists about just the whole family dynamic. But they offered, like, we can sit down and talk to Winston, they just kind of push through, and they're always there with open arms. And I think because autism is so unpredictable, and you never know what the day is going to bring, they're always there with an answer. I guess I always feel confident moving forward because I know I've done my due diligence. I know my stuff, but also knowing Redwood's behind me, his school support, it's made me like the strong person I am today. But it definitely didn't happen alone.